The Seventh-day Adventist Church launches a global initiative to address the crisis impacting over 132 million orphans and vulnerable children. Camporee in Peru brings together 10,000 Pathfinders, with hundreds of them deciding to be baptized as disciples of Jesus. ADRA's humanitarian efforts in Ukraine remain despite 2 years of ongoing conflict. The Spaghetti Church is impacting local communities with food and faith. Watch these stories now on ANN News, keeping you informed, inspired, and connected with your church family around the world. First in the news, the Seventh-day Adventist Church launches a global initiative to address a crisis affecting more than 100 million orphans and vulnerable children.
Siem Reap, Cambodia recently hosted the Orphans and Vulnerable Children's OVC Ministries Global Congress, an event that gathered over 80 delegates to deliberate, discuss, and raise awareness about this humanitarian issue. The program, themed Learn, Seek, Defend, and Disciple, emphasized the urgency and global imperative of the mission. The Congress also delved into crucial topics concerning the protection and support of orphans and vulnerable children, with contributions from OVC ministries worldwide. Organizers hope the Congress will not only raise awareness, but also extend the reach of OVC initiatives, safeguarding society's most vulnerable through compassion and collective action.
The initiative gained momentum through the engagement of Adventist Possibility Ministries, APM. Pastor Doug Venn, assistant to the president for APM, sheds light on the pivotal role played by ministries dedicated to caring for the most vulnerable populations.
Adventist Possibility Ministries is an initiative of the worldwide church where we seek to work together and to care for and minister with and for those most vulnerable populations. It's comprised of 7 ministries, and those include orphans and vulnerable children, and that's why this Congress is going on. The deaf community, the blind, and those with low vision. It also includes those with mobility challenges, mental health challenges, as well as those who've suffered spousal loss and the caregivers of those communities.
Seventh-day Adventists promote healthy lifestyle in 5K walk, 3.1 miles in Venezuela.
Hundreds of Seventh-day Adventists and friends came together to exercise in a 3.1 miles through the streets of Venezuela, promoting a healthy lifestyle. Under the motto, "I want to live healthily," they highlighted the benefits of 8 natural remedies, including exercise and balanced nutrition. More than 4,000 participants of all ages walked through cities, communities, and sports fields, sharing hope and inspiring positive changes. The initiative, led by the church in the eastern region of Venezuela, targets both physical and spiritual well-being. Despite the political challenges the country is currently facing, the church remains steadfast in its commitment to help people take care of their bodies holistically.
One of the happiest countries in the world houses the highest suicide rate in the Americas. As a result, volunteers from the Seventh-day Adventist Church offer free psychological assistance through the Viva Network. Let's follow the story of this phenomenon that is being experienced by many in Uruguay.
Uruguay is one of the happiest countries in the world. According to the United Nations organization, the South American nation is in 28th position in the global ranking, as well as being the 4th happiest in the Americas, behind only Canada, the United States, and Costa Rica. However, suicide is still one of the biggest social wounds in this place. The most recent data indicates that during 2022, 823 Uruguayans took their own lives. This figure represents a rate of 23 suicides per 100,000 inhabitants, more than double the regional average. The problem has been named the Uruguay paradox and concerns the country's health authorities, even more so when looking at the data more closely. According to the latest report from the Ministry of Health, out of every 100 Uruguayan adolescents, 2 take their own lives before turning 19. And just in 2022, there were 45. And to help people with psychological problems, volunteers from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Uruguay created the Viva Network.
They tell us, oh, look, that person needs psychological help. Perfect. We give them our phone number, they contact us, we see the situation they are going through, and then they are referred to one of our psychologists who are currently 5 psychologists, professionals with many years of experience in Adventists, and they decide whether to provide individual treatment or refer them to the groups. Normally, both individual and group sessions are done. This is not about imposing, it's about advising. That's why the groups are gradually growing depending on the circumstances.
Adriana mentions that the project started worried about the adults in the church, but it grew to reach people who do not have contact with the Adventist message.
Firstly, because we know it is a very big need. It started in our church with the elderly and their situations of loneliness and abandonment by their families. Then it progressed. We reached the adolescents. We were with the pre-adolescents, and then we started with the adults outside of our church, who we began to see had problems of domestic violence, low self-esteem, sometimes many cases of rape, and then we tried to reach them. Abandonment in work, loss of job, a lot of drug addiction, addictions of all kinds. Because it's not just drugs, there are addicts to food. And well, we are with them. And that's where our work began, out of a concern for a need that was in our church. But then we expanded because the intention is to reach everyone, because God reached everyone.
A unit of the Seventh-day Adventist Church called Ephesus and located in southern Los Angeles, California, in the United States, became known as the Spaghetti Church. Let's find out in this report how the Community Services Center of this church is helping the community and impacting lives.
Things about service seem to be a driving force within the church, and I can attest to that because literally the first Sabbath, when I got here and I walked through the door, the first person I met was Sister Diva. She was the first person. She says, "Hello, Pastor. Welcome." She kind of told me some basic, orientation things, and then she started telling me, "All right, so this Thursday, we're gonna have our food distribution this week and next week, and we got prep for it." So she was like in the mindset of just letting me know. So I was like, "Oh wow, this is extremely true. This is a church that is dedicated to service," and you could see that basically everything is a 2-day operation where they're gathering, getting all the food. Food bank distributes the food. Wednesday is the big day of setup, and then Thursday is the actual distribution. People can literally just come, take a shower. They also have toiletries that are donated. Clothes are hanging on racks and they're ironed. Just having the best possible presentation so that you feel like you're coming into a store and you're getting, whatever items you need.
This ministry has been going on since as long as I've been in this church. And I've been in this church a little bit over 15 years. It's always been a part of the congregation, functioning to do what the scriptures teaches us to do. To the least of these you've done it to, you've done it unto me. I made a commitment to God, and I've been on board ever since. Makes me a better person, and if nothing else, I'm not here to convince you or to convert you. I'm just here to serve God, and in that, if you see something you like, you gravitate, you draw to that. And when you see that kind of example, you gravitate towards that thing too. You want to do that. I want some of that. I want to do some of that. Especially when you know it ain't no money behind it and you want to do it, you know that's God. I used to be homeless. I was a full-blown drug addict. And that's why I have passion inside of me. I used to be them. And in so many ways I could still be them because I still struggle in different areas. But I know there's a God, a living God. It says love like I love you. Forgive like I forgive you. You're no different from them. So I'm not going to turn my face when I see them. This is what I call truly living God's written word. I have to. Because I'm living my life in vain if I do anything different.
You know, I had a house, apartment, everything, my job. Then I got sick and I lost everything. And went in the streets for 2 years. And then one day a lady talked to me, a church lady, and she says, I can get you some help, Joe. I'm glad I made it out, but my life is good now. The church, they'll help you too, because they know peoples,
Like in real life, if this church is gone, are people just going to keep walking by as normal? Or will they be like, man, they were really doing something out here. And we're really working towards that.
Let's be about it and quit talking about it, and let's do it. Let's make a difference, really make a difference. Because it used to be me. Then look at me now. I ain't pretty, but I'm faithful. How about that?
This week on ANN Profiles, Alyssa Truman, ANN News Director, interviews Marcus Bonfim, the Director of the Stewardship Department for the Seventh-day Adventist Church worldwide. He shares his personal and inspiring journey from struggling with low self-esteem to rediscovering his faith through family worship.
You have not only been raised in an Adventist home, but you have a legacy of your relatives being some of the first Scandinavian missionaries. I mean, mission and church is just in your blood.
Yeah,
so I'm going to guess you have a perfect life.
It was in my family, but not in my blood.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. When I was born, I will have a congenital problem, and I was very sick. And by my third year, I will already have 3 surgeries on my intestines. So I was about to die. And then at the same time, my father was invited by a friend. My father was already studying theology at that time. And so a friend of him said, hey, let's have a gas station. And my father was always willing to have money. So he was planning to leave theology, to leave his pastoral career, a future career on ministry, to get money. And then I became sick, and I was about to die. And the doctor said, if we have the surgery, he will die. But if we don't have the surgery, he will die anyway. What do you prefer? So my father said, do surgery. And he went to the hospital restroom and said, Lord, please, if it is for this boy to be on your side and to work for you, save his life. Otherwise, let it go.
To discover the end of this story and watch other episodes of ANN Profiles, visit the official website of the Seventh-day Adventist Church on YouTube. In the last edition of ANN News, we saw that ADRA's ongoing humanitarian efforts in Ukraine continue 2 years after the onset of the armed conflict. As the crisis enters its 3rd year, ADRA reaffirms its commitment to providing vital assistance to internally displaced persons and refugees during this challenging time.
2 excruciating years ago, we faced the new reality. The reality where the full-scale war has brought a great deal of uncertainty, a lot of pain, and many needs for support.
I came, opened the door, cried, because there was nothing. I sat right on the doorstep, screamed, and cried. What can I do? Who will help me? I had this feeling of great fear. Where will I live? How will I live? What will happen to me?
During these times of uncertainty, when the area of government-controlled Ukraine territories has significantly reduced and the lives of ordinary people are badly affected by the painful implications of the war, ADRA Ukraine, with the support of these numerous international partners, is here to give hope to those who have lost everything. The work we are doing is not only about providing assistance, but also about showing that the human dignity can be maintained and promoted regardless of the ongoing events.
These products are stored here in special conditions, according to donors' requirements. Everything comes here from other warehouses all over Ukraine and on different projects. At the moment, we're working in Kupiansk district and representing ADRA to help people in this region. Also, our volunteer team has recently been enriched with people from other countries, in particular Finland, and has become international.
Over these 2 years, thanks to the support provided by our donors, ADRA Ukraine has been at the forefront of advocating dignity and saving human lives. Our volunteers have become invisible heroes during this time of great challenge.
Honestly, like you hear, it's I don't think many people understand how it is to live under the influence of war. It's so different experiencing this in person than just watching the news. The front line is just there, and we could see the smoke, we could hear the explosions, and after experiencing even a little bit of the hard, cold reality that the people live in here, it's just unbelievable to me that some people just don't care, or they think that they don't need to help, because the war is still going on, and that's why Ukraine needs our strong support.
Thank God that there are people who help us, who are there for us. We have already rebuilt the roof and windows, but there is no ceiling, only beams and the floor, and the house needs a stove and wood to heat it. That is a lot of work.
Thanks to our humanitarian project and many people all over the globe who responded to our call for help, the local population in the eastern part of Ukraine now has access to much needed fuel materials. This has contributed to improvement of the living conditions, since now people can heat their homes despite the lack of resources caused by the armed conflict. Thanks to our cooperation with the governmental agencies and humanitarian organizations in 35 countries worldwide, over 2,600,000 people have already received support. Still, despite such a significant progress, the situation is still challenging, and there is a great need for further support of Ukrainians dealing with the implications of the war on the daily basis. Over 17% of Ukrainian territories are now non-government controlled. This area is larger than the territory of Czech Republic or Austria. Yet people continue to sow their fields, risking their lives without even knowing if there will be a harvest.
There's such a compassion and solidarity inside of me that it just drives me. And it's also very inspiring to see the unity that the Ukrainian people have, the strength that they have. They are just fighting the situation that they are in. It's inspiring. I want to be, at least trying to be as cool person as any Ukrainian.
International support of Ukraine is crucial to stop the potential crisis in Europe. Provision of financial assistance and other forms of humanitarian aid is a decisive factor to determine the future of both Ukraine in particular and the whole civilized world in general. We have been here since the very beginning. We are still here to serve the people.
More than 260 youth are baptized at the Camporee in northern Peru, which gathered a total of nearly 10,000 Pathfinders.
The crowd of young people wearing yellow scarves, identifying themselves as Seventh-day Adventist Pathfinders, radiated excitement at the Fourth Camporee in the northern region of Peru. The event addressed the theme of discipleship and celebrated faith, communion, and learning. More than 9,600 children and teenagers from over 300 Pathfinder clubs from different regions of the country participated in an experience filled with spiritual moments and also fun.
It is good that being disciples of Jesus is a great privilege because it gives you eternal life. So we all need to leave this world where there are tears, where there are so many problems. But being a disciple of Jesus, we will be where He is in heaven, and He will come to look for us very soon, and we will go with Him to the heavenly homeland.
Promoting Christian values, the Camporee challenged the Pathfinders to dedicate themselves to faith and to share the gospel message. The experience provided spiritual growth for each participant, strengthening faith and filling the heart with gratitude to face life's challenges with courage and determination.
We want the Pathfinders to overcome their personal challenges and become more and more disciples of Jesus. And it was really spectacular for me to know that these clubs are fulfilling the mission and preparing these kids for the great heavenly Camporee.
During the Camporee, the Pathfinders watched the musical play Fishermen, which portrays the importance of discipleship based on the story of Peter and John, who left everything to follow Jesus. The play was divided into episodes that showcased various events, such as the crucifixion of Jesus. The musical brought together 180 volunteer actors, including Pathfinders and members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The production showed viewers how to overcome selfishness and become followers of Jesus, sharing Christ's love with others, thus practicing discipleship. During the 4 days of the Camporee held in Ancon, in the province of Lima, the capital of Peru, Pathfinders participated in various recreational activities that challenge both body and mind. From skill games and marches to thrilling extreme competitions, they united with the purpose of spreading love and goodness, as the youth contributed to service actions by delivering non-perishable food to community kitchens around the campsite and supporting those in need.
And supporting those who need it the most. It's like opening your heart, giving more than you expect.
I am truly surprised, and I thank God for allowing young people nowadays to be involved in this social work.
The Camporee also provided space for the investiture of new leaders, and the decision of over 260 Pathfinders to be baptized was an emotional moment of deep emotion and celebration at the campsite pool. The Camporee was not just a gathering of young people, but an experience that will mark their lives forever, preparing them to live as disciples of Jesus.
Alex, a young student, shares the story of a small school with only 3 teachers that is making a significant impact on the Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal, India. As part of this quarter's special offerings in Sabbath School, funds will go towards building a new school, expanding educational opportunities for more children in these islands.
Alex attended the only Seventh-day Adventist school on the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These islands sit in the Bay of Bengal. They are part of India, even though they sit closer to Southeast Asian countries of Myanmar and Indonesia. Alex has fond memories of learning at this island school.
I love teachers in this school because they teach me very kindly.
The school's curriculum is based on the Bible. They only have 3 teachers, but what they lack in quantity, they make up for in quality of teaching.
The school starts with prayer, then after that, before they are going to classes, they starts with some story related to Bible. So that after telling that, they will teach them one memory verse every day.
This school has a positive reputation in the community. Every parent wants to see their child succeed, which is why Alex's parents trusted the Adventist school to educate their son. Unfortunately, the school only offers nursery and preschool levels for kids. The students have to look for other education options once they finish preschool.
Last year we had 32 students. Among those, 9 were graduated. That means they finished UKG, upper KG, then went to other school because we don't have the higher studies. Then primary school we don't have.
At his new school, Alex was required to attend class on the Sabbath. But thanks to his prior education, he was able to defend his faith to his teacher.
I told to my teacher that the 4th commandment is we have to follow the holy Sabbath. So I have to go to the Sabbath because I will obey to God. So I told to my teacher that if I don't listen to my Lord, then how is it possible to listen to you? So I have to go to church.
After discussions between the teacher and Alex's parents, Alex now has the Sabbath off. Alex is not alone in facing the challenge of attending school on Sabbath. Other Adventist students face the same problem. That's why this quarter, we can help expand the Adventist school beyond preschool all the way through high school.
Please pray for our church ministry in Andaman Nicobar Islands. All our church members praying for an Adventist school in a higher level, that is till up to high school, because all Adventist children should continue their education here itself without any problem, without any difficulties.
A portion of your 13th Sabbath offering this quarter will help build the new Seventh-day Adventist English school in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, providing a higher level of education so more people can learn about the love of Jesus.
Thank you so much for supporting us through 13th Sabbath School mission offering.
I hope you enjoyed this multicultural experience of news of service, faith, love of neighbor, and hope from the worldwide Seventh-day Adventist Church. Present in over 200 countries, the denomination seeks to be the hands and feet of Christ through its members, leaders, administrative headquarters, institutions, and supporting ministries. You can access other good news by joining the official channels of the Seventh-day Adventist Church on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and also at the ANN website, adventist.news. Share your faith journey and submit prayer requests on our channels. Our team is committed to praying for you 24/7. Before I say goodbye, I leave you with the inspiring words from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Study the Bible daily to discover other wonderful promises of hope. God willing, we will meet in the next edition of ANN Video. God bless. Take care.